Did you know the first book of Harry Potter was rejected 12 times? The same book which has sold 120 million copies and is third best-selling book of all time was rejected 12 times. Have you ever wondered why do we get so nervous when we want to ask things to other people? Even to people who are clearly there to help us, like waiters, people who work in grocery store, teachers. Why? One of the biggest reasons that we get panicked and anxious in this kind of situation is because we fear rejection. And most of us even give up on asking that question way before we approach that person because we already assume that we're gonna get rejected. So what's the point, right? So we rather not even take risk of getting yes than get rejected. Why is this fear of rejection so big? Don't you think it's taking way too much space in our life, that it's limiting us from our capabilities? And like always, this girl here has brought up this video to answer the questions you are probably asking right now, like, what is fear of rejection? How did we end up fearing rejection this badly? And how can we overcome it? But before that, welcome to my channel or welcome back. This is Sabina and this is a space where we encourage everyone to love themselves unconditionally and be connected with their most loving, higher and deeper version of themselves. So let's talk about why do we fear rejection so bad? In ancient times, we used to live in tribe. Living in a tribe was the only way to protect ourselves from being hunted by wild animals and actually hunt wild animals to eat and survive. So if you did something that is against the rule of tribe, then you would get boycotted, which means you are rejected by a tribe, and which also means you have to go out there, live alone by yourself, protect yourself from wild animals and actually hunt them to eat and survive. And again, which also means you are good as dead. That's why not getting rejected was necessary for surviving. But somehow our brain hasn't still evolved from the fear that we used to get in ancient time. And it doesn't understand getting rejected is not as severe as it used to be or life-threatening as it used to be. That's why we have to make our mind understand what rejection is really like in today's world. Like everything, rejection is mindset and perception too. And by questioning and understanding deeply what rejection really is, you can form a perspective about rejection. And that is exactly why I'm going to be sharing with you guys few points that will help you see rejection in different light. Number 1, rejection is subjective and is not universal truth. I always hated my skin color. You know how some Asian countries are so obsessed with white skin? In some countries, white skin is a beauty standard which is not achievable by all the person who are born with brown skin. And when I was in Nepal and young, when people would describe pretty girls, they would always be fair-skinned girl. And even 90% of celebrities and actresses who are like a face of nation are white skin. Even though more than half of the population in Nepal are brown skin. And obviously with that all going on, it was ingrained in my brain that I was ugly because I had a brown skin. Until I came to Australia. When I first came to Australia, I would get very shocked when people would compliment how beautiful my skin was. And some of them were even using fake tan to make their skin look like mine. Shocking was just a small word for what I felt at the time. All my life I felt ugly, but suddenly people think that I'm pretty. Believe me, nothing changed in how I look. I still have beautiful brown skin. But what changed was people that I was hanging out with. They were from the different part of the world. That exactly is when it clicked to me that rejection is just an opinion and it is highly influenced by different factors like what ethnic culture background the rejecter is from, what rejecter has gone through, how the rejecter is feeling right now, what is rejecter interested in, and so on. So most of the time, rejection is not even about you. It's about who the rejecter is. Number 2, rejection has a number. Are you someone who runs away and hides when you get rejected? If the girl you asked out on date says no to you, do you label yourself as a failure and not good enough to date someone? If the job you applied for didn't offer you a job, do you completely stop applying for a job? Because if that company didn't hire you, no one would. Now, hear me out. Did you know the first book of Harry Potter was rejected 12 times? The same book which has sold 120 million copies and is third best-selling book of all time was rejected 12 times. If J.K. Rowling had given up on first try, wait, not even first, like 10th try, then we wouldn't be able to encounter this amazing magical book. There would not be Harry Potter, no book, no series, no witch, no wand, no Hogwarts. I don't know about you, but I cannot imagine a world without Harry Potter. So the lesson here is the more you try, the more you increase the chance of getting yes. And that is because you increase the probability of meeting a people who are actually interested in what you have to offer. So realize this, when someone rejects you, it's not because you're not good enough. It's most likely because what you are offering might not fit in their interest, mindset, or even capabilities. Number 3. Rejection is a perspective. Apparently, when we get physically hurt, our body releases this natural painkiller called beta endorphin. But the same thing is released when we are getting rejected. The thing is, our brain cannot differentiate between this physical pain and rejection. That's why rejection hurt as bad as physical pain. But like everything, you can have a perspective about rejection too. And that is the only way we can face this fear instead of running away from it and letting it hurt us. First off, instead of labeling yourself as failure when someone rejects you, why don't you start asking why did they reject you? That way you can actually get feedback for your improvement and see this experience in positive light. And if this rejection had nothing to do with you at all, then you don't have to beat yourself up for it. Form a positive mindset about rejection and start seeing rejection as not something that should stop you, but something that helps you be better even more. Second, rejection speaks more about rejecter than rejectee. Do you know lots of greatest creative ideas has been rejected? When Wright brothers started creating plane, people thought they were crazy. People made fun of them. People laughed at them. Rejected by a whole society. But now, can you imagine world without plane? Just like that, just because someone rejected your idea doesn't mean your idea was not good enough. Sometimes people cannot comprehend the ideas that they believe will not work, but that doesn't mean they won't. If you believe your idea is good enough, that's all it takes to make it work. Third, find your target group. If you ask soccer player to teach you how to swim, then obviously you will get rejected. So you have to target people, group, or companies who are more likely to give you yes. This will increase the probability of you getting a yes. And if you get no, you can actually get a nice proper feedback to improve yourself in that skill. At last, I recommend you read a book called Rejection Proof by Jang. And this video is highly inspired by this book. It was so interesting. It was basically about the writer himself who tries 100 days of rejection and learns loads about it. I really enjoyed reading that book and I hope you do too. And I really appreciate you and thanks for coming by and watching this video. It means a lot to me. And please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe because that would help me a lot. And I hope I'll see you on my next video. I love you. Bye. Mwah.